413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio,
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
That's a sex machine to all the chicks.
You damn right.
Who is the man that would risk his neck for his brother, man? Can you dig it? Who's the cat that won't cop out when there's danger all about?
Right on. You see, this cat chef is a bad mother.
Shut your mouth.
What I'm talking about, Chef?
Then we can do it.
He's a complicated man, but no one understands him but his woman.
John Shack.
Yeah.
Are we on, Pete? We are. Hey, good
I
morning.
was
Welcome.
waiting because you were having a conversation. I didn't want to open the mic.
I was. Well, Mrs. Figgy decided to ask me a question right as we were about to start.
Timing is everything.
I had to wait. I was trying to be nice.
Thank you. So, welcome to Superintendent Spotlight with Zap and Chris. As you know, we broadcast live every Thursday from 8:45 to 10 o'clock. And I still am amazed. I was thinking in the write-in that this is our 4th year doing this. I mean, and I don't know. We've had a pretty good season so far this year.
Well, we have. You mean in terms of you and I actually being here together?
That too.
And guests.
And guests.
So actually, speaking of guests, and you and I being here with the two unbelievable guests that we have today.
This is true.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
It's very, very true. Maybe you and I could go get a coffee right now.
And they could just take over the
let them
show.
take
I
over.
just want you to notice that you're the only two with coffee, which tells me you already took a break. Lied to me and said I had to be here at 8.
Oh.
Which was a lie.
But you got to see part of Tiger Talk then.
Yeah.
I went and had a coffee, but
Oh.
I also saw a bunch of kids.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's
Excellent.
the best part.
That's perfect.
That's the best part.
Tiger's
I got
Pride
to
is.
listen to our new person. Joe
Yes.
Douglas. Boy, is he interesting.
He is, and he's actually in this program. So he's running. He's going to be running this program. So we're fortunate to have him.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So today we have Ralph and Sue Figgy for the first part of our show. We're going to be talking about the food drive coming up. And then in the second half of the show, Jay Taylor is going to be joining us with a couple of students from Westfield High School. And we're going to be talking about the new criminal justice program, which, Sue, you are the chair. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yes. Isn't that great? Of the Criminal Justice
My new year
Advisory
is
Board.
going to be able to, I'm going to take a class on how to say no to Stefan.
I don't know if you can do it.
I can.
It's definitely a graduate level course.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
Next week we have paper mill.
I don't know how to do it either, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hey, coaching again. All right.
Next week we have paper mill. December 12th, I'm excited because we have Corey Bruno in the Westfield High School.
Oh,
Choir coming
yes.
in. So that's going to be a great show. I can't believe it's November 21st. Thanksgiving is already next week. Before you know it, it's going to be the holiday season. We're going to be on vacation.
I just can't wait till December 1st. Because then No Shave November is going to be over.
Is that okay?
And I can trim or.
I thought you were going for a new look.
I am, but I like it. It's getting to the point now where I'm like.
It's itchy, right?
Not even that. I'm just not. There's so much gray in it that I can't wait to do some trimming.
There you go. Hey, Tiger's Pride is open today, folks, 10:45 to 12:15. Stop in for a great lunch. But I will tell you that tomorrow is the Thanksgiving buffet that they have. It is sold out. There are no more seats. You can't go. You can't get in.
I wasn't going anyway.
You're not going?
No, I'm going to be busy working on the food drive that I.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yes.
I have pickups tomorrow. What are you doing
tomorrow?
tomorrow? Because if you're not busy, you can help me.
My day is crazy.
Yes.
It really
He
is.
says that all the time. I'm going to get him to say no.
But let's talk about the food drive while
Yeah.
I brought it up. It's a good segue.
Perfect.
So I know that we've had some generous folks already. I wanted to say that Caldwell Banker, I know that they have made our food drive an office initiative. I did put that up on our Facebook page
And I
this
love
morning.
that. I mean, in offices, we encourage them to do that. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Caldwell Banker, this is the second year in a row they've taken
Right.
the initiative.
It's terrific.
But there's other organizations that have done the same thing. City Hall did it.
Oh yes.
City Hall
Yes.
did
City
it.
Hall donated their proceeds from Dress Down Day.
Awesome.
For the food drive.
That's
And by the way, we have Sue and Acting Mayor Ralph.
I was going to say,
today.
let's not forget.
Yeah, sorry.
Right?
Where are my manners here?
I know.
So who else is? I mean,
I have a whole list of great people.
Let's
as
share
you
it,
know, that
okay.
I'm going to go. So again, as always, advanced manufacturing is always there.
Yes.
We have a great benefactor that I'm not allowed to give a name, but I can tell you, we called to ask him, who would you suggest we go to? He says, go no further. I'll take care of it. And
Wow.
so he donated 100. His company donated 100 turkeys.
So that's the anonymous benefactor. that
Yes,
The anonymous
and
That's
what a
awesome.
great guy. And then we
What a
have
philanthropist. That's awesome.
Then we have the Lions Club they were part of this, and they'll be part of helping. And Dr. Conifal donated. We have Beltrandi, Councilor Beltrandi. We have Sean and
turkeys.
Lauren Figgy that did all the stuffing in the
Gravy.
gravies for everybody.
Excellent.
We have Thrifty Car Sales. They're always good. Polish National Credit Union gave us bags along with gas and electric, which is really helpful. We have WASA, which is the Westfield Spanish American Association, that
Yeah.
helped. We had Jimmy Adams always comes through.
First
Jimmy
and Adams,
Adams,
sure.
First and Adams.
And
always
city councilor coming up in January, right?
Counselor-elect, yes.
And then we have Lisa and Rick Sullivan, since you bring up another counselor that came through.
Counselor-elect, yeah.
So, we have a lot of people that have stepped up to help, and people always step up to help. Our
And not
volunteers.
to be amiss, the new police commissioner,
yes,
Attorney Richard
right.
Sypek, has donated 15 turkeys.
Excellent.
Outstanding.
Yeah, so, I mean, some of these donations have been not 1 or 2 turkeys, or 10, 15, 25.
The ones I gave you were not just 1 or 2 turkeys. They were pretty good donations.
Right. Well, and
we
so
still have a need for
we
those.
still have a need for
Yeah.
turkeys, though, and I want to make that
About-
clear.
about
I don't want
another-
people to
we
think
need-
we're
yeah.
all set.
No, no, no,
So I
no.
will tell you the other
We're
thing
about-
is that I did get a call from at least one of the schools is going to use food from our food drive to do a food bank at their school for their
Oh,
needs.
that's terrific.
So that was really
A good number of our
excellent.
schools have food
Yes.
banks
Yep,
now,
so-
and community closets. So I want to mention that too.
Absolutely. We can definitely talk about that as we go on. The community, especially as we get closer to, the holiday time too.
Yeah.
The community closets are growing at both the middle school, the high school, and here at the academy. So.
And I also, I continue to work with the Westfield Food Pantry, and I know I'm jumping holidays here.
Yeah,
But the Westfield Food Pantry every year does a drive for us, and we are able to purchase presents really for students for the holiday that ordinarily wouldn't receive anything.
Yeah, and
So
we're in the
that's
middle,
coming
and
up,
we're
too.
in the middle of the rallying cry for the cadet toy drive.
Oh, yeah.
The police department. We by Tuesday we should have all of our all of our numbers to give to Officer Coach and his team of cadets for when they run their annual toy drive. I believe it's the second Saturday in December. Yeah.
And
Wow.
I want to bring up that too. A lot of our food, if we get an abundance of food,
We
don't
share.
ever
We
think-
don't hang on to
we,
it, right?
We share. We share to the food bank, and we always have shared with the food bank. So we have a great collaboration between them and Salvation Army. Whoever needs whatever, we share.
Excellent. So let's talk about now. What do you really need? So I know, and the drop off tomorrow from 2 to 5, right? I think I got that right.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
2 to 5 here at Tigers Pride.
so they can come in, park on Smith Avenue, enter through the gymnasium entrance, come in here, and you'll be there greeting them with waiting for.
Very happily. I have actually a crew coming in to set up, so we're ready to rock and roll by 6 o'clock.
Well, because then Monday morning, right?
Monday morning we did make a big mistake last year. Do you remember that?
What did
well,
we
we're
do?
not going to do that again. Little did we know that you're not supposed to bag potatoes in plastic.
Oh, okay.
And so we bagged 400 pounds of potatoes for
Oh, they got
families.
spoiled.
And by the time we came in here, it was
Monday morning, it had
it was,
real
it was we lost
aroma.
over half of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to also actually put in there too that we have Mr. Tulumis who is donating the potatoes.
Right, and he's done that several years in a row.
Several
now,
years in a
too.
row.
It's a great community. I say
is
it
a
all the
great
time. But the generosity
Second to none.
here, right? I mean, I don't think people realize, and from state statistics, 40% of our students are now considered economically disadvantaged. So we want to make sure that all of our students have a happy Thanksgiving, at least have a meal to have on that time.
Yeah,
and again, it's not like. People that are in need, we find out discreetly. It's not as if though we're doing a big advertisement. I think that's important to know because our purpose isn't to shame anybody or make them feel bad. It's to help out.
Not. It's to help. And
I have to say on that too that you say that there are some people that their life's changed during the school year. In the
Right.
beginning, they fall under this category, but now they're under this. And who better to know than our school who. The teachers and the staff
And the
that
counselors.
say-
We work with
and
our
the counselors
counselors,
who
right.
say, "Hey, can you add this person on?" Or because this one needs a little pick me up because they've done so much and they just a little struggling time.
And I think what's interesting about all the percentages too is that percentages are numbers on paper,
Right.
And then once there's always a story. Right, and then once we start to develop those relationships that we always talk about, and people feel more comfortable, and kids feel more comfortable talking to our staff, then we're even able to help out more people. And I think we were last year at 225.
Yeah, and don't forget, we don't have, there's 2 schools that do their own, but they also have been notified if they need something to call me. But
Right.
You're right. I have kids that'll come to me and say,
Munger Hill and Southampton Road. Those are the two that are they've been doing it for longer,
Long time,
and that's why. But I do know that that relationship is reciprocal. If they need things from us that we have,
That's
and
right.
vice versa,
Right.
so
We
we
work
can help. We
together.
work together to help supply. But every school participates on
Absolutely.
some
Every
levels
single
in the
school.
district.
Yeah.
Every
In
public
fact,
school.
today at 3:30, I'm going to the middle school to pick up all the food that they have collected for the food drive.
Perfect.
Awesome.
That's
So these
amazing.
These are the things that as this continues to grow, more and more people are getting involved.
Right.
More and more people. It's a ton of work. I mean, Friday, especially Monday.
Mondays. Well, so talk about Monday.
Yeah,
we talked about
exactly.
Friday. What does Monday look like?
I mean, you and I have the easy part on Monday.
We're on the radio.
We're on the radio,
I think 10
right?
to 12. I
So,
put on my
right,
calendar block.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, poor Ralph and Josh Adams this year. Josh Adams.
Oh, is he? Did you rope him in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
him and his
No, he
truck.
volunteered.
He volunteered.
Nice.
Josh is great
Yeah.
kid.
Like you volunteer, or
Great
he
kid.
really volunteered?
No, he really volunteered. I mean,
He wasn't
Josh
voluntold?
Josh, well, yeah, I have voluntold him in the past, but he's very gracious about it. So we have Josh Adams, we have Dr. Conifal that's come in. We have quite a few people that keep coming back every year.
What's nice is to see the number of retired Westfield Public School
That's who
employees
we
that
see.
come in
Yeah.
to help fill the bags,
Absolutely.
load the vehicles, because we deliver all these meals
Well,
to the local schools.
Well, you're right on. You're right on with that because I think last year, Eileen Yakum was here.
Oh, she'll
last
be here
year. She'll
again.
be here
She's
again.
easy to push
Was
around.
Jan Larice here?
And her husband.
Jan and her husband.
Maureen Warp.
Maureen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's
So there's a
great.
bunch of people. So.
If you ask, they will come. That's
Absolutely.
So true. If I put out there, we have Kathy Burns, whose husband works here. She's fabulous. She's going to be the one organizing Friday because she's had it in her mind for a year how it has to be organized. And I said, all yours.
Yeah, the green beans go here, the cream of mushroom soup goes.
It is a well-oiled machine.
It is. It's like
It really is.
we do it in bags of 4s and 6s. We don't put names on the bags either, and that's something I want to talk about.
No.
Our bags don't have names. Our bags have numbers.
Right.
So if our biggest family so far is 12, Ralph.
14. 14. And I want to say about the bags, they have been graciously donated by Whoop City Fiber and the Polish National Credit Union. Each of those donated 200 bags each. So we have plenty of bags to go around, and they're not the flimsy ones. These are good cloth, reusable bags. So
Which is what we need.
we really
Absolutely.
want to say
If
thank
you got
you
it,
for
if
that.
you have things in there.
Well, absolutely.
And we don't, believe it or not, the turkey doesn't go in there. So we send them we have
But the potatoes and stuff do, right?
the potatoes go in there. Loose this year, I might add. Loose.
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
We're not going to have any rotten
Oh,
potatoes.
Good call.
good call.
Oh my God, it was so bad last year for those of you who whined the entire day. That would have been both of you too.
Well,
Oh,
wow.
I was going to say, we're on. Gee.
Getting beat up a little bit.
So
All right,
on Monday we start at 6 in the morning.
Right.
The radio will be there with us, so we'll be going.
Pete, you're going to be there all day, right? 6 to 12. You're with us.
Yes, I am. I had a pot on my microphone. Bobby G and company are going to come in for the 6 to 8 show.
Okay, and then who else
whoever
do you
wants
have?
to show up. Michael Buster McMahon does his regular 8 to 10, and whoever wants to join him.
What? Okay.
And then I think Tina Gorman is with you guys on the Superflow after 10 o'clock because
Oh.
she's got early meetings, so she can't come over
Oh,
early.
all right.
Perfect.
More
so
than
we're gonna have a
merrier.
good show.
I
more than
invited
merrier.
Patrick Barry to come back because he's also
Good idea.
host emeritus.
We'd love
around
to
here,
have him.
so
Yeah. Is he coming back with a show? I've been prodding him.
I'm trying him too.
Okay.
I've been pushing him pretty
He always
hard.
had a great show, so I hope
Yeah.
he does that.
So we start, hopefully Friday we'll have everything organized, and we'll start filling the bags on Saturday, or
No.
on Monday morning.
Monday morning.
Once we get a school's order done, Josh and I, or whoever else is there to transport.
Roxanne
we'll take
Bradley
them.
and
Roxanne will be at the door welcoming people. People have a lot of stuff to bring in. We'll
and it's
have
great.
people curbside pickup.
and we
So we'll
love
be able
gift
to-
cards too.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you brought
Gift
that
cards.
up.
Can
Absolutely.
I bring up how we like our gift cards? We
Well-
like them in the $10 increment.
Okay.
There's a reason.
Why?
Well, sometimes we have families that are struggling for the week for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And we can give them all the dried good and all the things that are but we can't give them the protein. We can't give them. So a $10 gift card can have them go buy
Milk,
chicken,
eggs,
whatever.
butter.
yeah.
They need.
Right.
All right, listen. Pete. I think we're up for our first break already. It is 9:06. You're listening to Superintendent Spotlight. We'll be back in a few minutes, folks. Thanks for listening.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And welcome back to Superintendent Spotlight. It's actually 38 degrees out, which isn't bad, by the way. And it's sunny, and we haven't had that in a little while. In fact, I was watching the news this morning before coming in, and they were talking about you can actually wear sunglasses today. It's been cloudy a bit lately.
Hey, that reminds me, Pete. I know I wasn't here last week. We're not keeping track of sun streaks, are we anymore?
No, we really haven't done that. So you want to start a new one today?
We'll start today.
So can we start today?
Sure.
All right.
So it just went up to 39. Look at that. While you were talking, it went up a degree.
It's supposed to go to 50 today.
That'd be the hot air emanating from my mouth.
I was just listen. I was thinking of
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Tomorrow back to clouds though, but a high of 52. Sunday looks like we're in for some interesting weather. It's going to be a mixture of rain, sleet, snow.
It's on a weekend though.
And you like
Saturday
better
night.
than having
I
to
hate
work out
it.
school days, don't you?
Well, then it's not. No, Monday's fine, Tuesday's fine, but was it Al Roker? Yeah, on NBC today said next week we could be getting snow all the way up through New England. So next Wednesday might be a little bit tough.
That's a little far out.
But we don't have
We don't have school that day, so we don't have to get up early.
Yeah, we have to work.
We work.
Yeah.
Well,
Some of us still have to come in and do shows that morning.
Some of us are driving.
Pete, we were more concerned with the safety of our students than we were the producer of our show. No offense, brother.
Hey,
Yeah,
come on.
without the
But we
producers,
do
there is
care,
no
Pete.
show.
Don't take it the wrong way. We care. Yeah. Boy, he's giving you the business.
During the last segment, we were talking about the generosity to the community.
Yes.
And there's a couple people. When you start listing and naming things, it's just inevitable if you forget somebody. So I want to give a shout out to the FBLA organization here.
Future Business Leaders of America,
That's right.
folks. Yep.
They have organized for the last several years a food drive competition between shops.
Right.
And the winning shop gets a pizza party, and Sue and I sponsor that. So it has been a good motivating factor. They also help us organize everything.
And get
They
rid of
go
all the
through,
out of date.
They check dates. They do all.
Well, and that's the other thing. I mean, all right, you brought it up, so I'm going to say it. When we donate, folks, please, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. We appreciate your donations. But when you bring us stuff that's out of date, we can't use it.
Or if the can is bent, we don't
Right,
give it.
we can't use it. So
And and that's why it's like what Sue said earlier. Gift cards don't ever go out of style.
They don't, and we're able to use it for other reasons too.
Right.
But
Last year, we had a lot of gift cards given to us, and we ended up
the runner for that, having to go to the grocery store.
Oh my gosh, we had
once or twice an hour.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
We're running short of
Dr. Condefeld and Roxanne Bradley were running nonstop.
But it's such a great day. I'm telling you, I think last year I wasn't able to come in until about 10 o'clock either, and by the time we get here, Chris, isn't it? Everything's like all organized.
Oh yeah. By the time we get here, it's
yeah.
And then they want you to stop and talk, and it's like, no, that's not happening. There was no talking. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. Come on the radio. No, sorry, Kate.
But I do want to say, if there are any extra peas, Mrs. Figgy takes those home because
Keep your
she
peas,
loves
people.
those.
Oh my God, they're disgusting.
Actually, now that you say that, not the part about the peas, but the part about you and I coming in at 10 o'clock. If you remember, and we've done this before, we do like shout outs of the people that are volunteering their time and the hustle and the bustle and the working hard. And I can't remember if it was Eileen or Jan Larice got mad at me last year for actually shouting them out. And I'm like, no. You got to get some recognition for
Absolutely.
Right?
But you were taking them out of my workload. You know? I'm like, no.
Don't disrupt the
flow.
Yeah.
Like, no.
The machine is in operation.
It is. Don't be the
Do not be the one
monkey
that
wrench in the cog.
Exactly.
So
and the senior center, Ralph.
Yes.
And Tina Gorman of the senior center always does a drive. Seniors bring in items that we bring over, so we want to to give them a shout out as well.
She said it may be many carloads this time.
She's
They
wonderful.
have a lot.
What
She
a
is.
mind the city has with her.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What
And again,
fine
folks,
have with the seniors.
if you're thinking to yourself, they have enough food, we never have enough.
Never have enough.
We pass it on.
right.
Right, we pass it on, but also, as we mentioned earlier in the show, a lot of our schools have food pantries, so the extra food can go there, and then, of course, our counselors work with students that we find.
I think there's a misconception out there too that we don't have homeless families in Westfield. That's so not true.
Chris? No,
Yeah,
I mean, that's part of your job, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, the definition of homelessness is broad.
Sure.
Under federal law, but
But
for
if you're sleeping
example,
on other people's couch, that's homeless.
that's correct. If we've got
Couch surfers.
16, 17-year-old high school students that are sleeping in different houses every night on somebody else's couch,
Yeah.
they're technically considered homeless. And if we have a family that suffers a financial hardship,
Right.
and is evicted or is forced to leave.
Well, that goes with what Sue was saying.
Right.
Situations change as the school
That's
year goes
correct.
on,
And
right.
even if they are what we call doubled up, maybe they've moved in temporarily with friends or family, they're still considered homeless, and there's a financial hardship there. So that's the work that we're doing, is to try to keep the education stable for those people, but also try to help them in terms of housing and in terms of, listen, you suffer a financial hardship. Thanksgiving meal's probably not your first priority.
Which also brings up that we have some people that are truly like living in a car.
Oh, absolutely.
So for those families, the $10 or the $15 or $20 buys them an already cooked chicken.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so it's very helpful.
Absolutely. And we'll take gift cards from,
Any-
Big Y, Stop and Shop,
Walmart. Price Right is fabulous.
Price Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
anything.
Good. That's right.
So, again, folks,
Those
we
are all the ones
appreciate.
we shop, by the way.
Yeah. Well, we shop local too, so we always keep
Shop
it. We
local.
always
Which
keep
it
brings
local.
up our local. We have a local farmer who also wants to remain anonymous, who gave us a ton of squash.
Fresh, like butternut
fresh
squash?
Well,
Oh,
it's,
wow.
it's fun
Mixed
squash.
butternut,
It's different.
acorns, there's some different kinds. It's
All right. I feel about squash the way you feel about peas.
You know what though? I
I'm gonna
love.
make sure you get one.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, summer squash is fine and zucchini, but the other stuff, I'll set.
one of my favorites.
What was it? Last Friday, I think I came here to eat, and it was the buffet Tuesday night. You were there too. They had
Oh, yeah.
everyone was eating up that huge tray of butternut squash, and I was like, I can't do it.
do it.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Can I bring up one more thing that as I'm
Sure.
looking at this? So you know that one of the things that we go through a lot is our health and beauty items. So
And that which has nothing to do with Thanksgiving, although
nothing, but we definitely go through a lot of that. And presently, I have no toothpaste upstairs except for 3 sample packs.
Oh, really?
So,
Very
and I
few
have
toothbrushes.
There is
Our
some
supply of bar soap
feminine
is
hygiene
good.
products. We go through those, but soap. Somebody gave us a
Shampoo.
box of soap already in containers. They put them in containers. It was a Boy Scout group. I don't know who it was because it was brought to the front desk.
Right.
But that has been very helpful.
Yeah.
And we usually get a visit from Lorena Donnelly.
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
She's always been. She's so.
boxes and boxes.
She's
of
probably
cereal.
done about 400 to 500 boxes of cereal a year for the schools.
She a couponer? Is that how we
She's
do
a couponer.
Well, there you
you
go.
know more about that, don't you, Pete?
Pete? Because coupon Pete? I mean, what do they call?
She is what's called a super couponer. She can go in and buy several hundred or even $1,000 worth of groceries and spend like $5.
That is
Fabulous.
incredible.
How do you?
By the way.
Don't know how you do that.
I
I don't
know how
get
she
it.
does it,
Super
but I gotta be honest
organized.
with you, she is probably one of the biggest givers we have to the
Yeah,
schools.
she's
Absolutely.
super organized, and that's for her. That's indulging a passion. She
Right.
loves to do that.
Sure.
And our students
And
benefit from it. So
it.
Wow.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Last year, every family got a box of cereal, which was huge.
With their yeah.
So
Again, and that's to go back to the health and beauty items. I mean, again, not Thanksgiving,
That would be
Thanksgiving
Ralph's
generated.
phone, by the way.
Yeah, it was Mr. Figgy's phone. That would be.
acting mayor, you got to be excited. You never know what's going to happen.
That's right.
But those are the things that would go into our food pantry for future use. So
Correct.
for the health and beauty items,
And
we're talking
as
soap,
I can
deodorant,
say,
laundry detergent,
Laundry detergent. We're out of laundry detergent.
shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste,
And you know
toothbrushes.
what? Our shampoo, we're probably,
Are we running low?
yes, because I did send them to one of the schools called and asked for health and beauty products, and I sent a ton to them.
Ton. You know, and I remember there was one year I was still here as principal. Somebody, all their friends. They did something. They collected all the free shampoos and stuff that you get when you go stay at a hotel or whatever. They had bags and
I have
bags
boxes of those.
trial size. But hey, it's something.
Yeah,
and
I
it
have
will take
boxes of those, and those have to be sorted. So the FBLA usually is very good about that stuff and bag them so they're to-go bags.
Okay.
Because they've sorted everything. So you got canned cream. I mean, it's like.
There's
another one I don't like is cream corn. I can't handle.
Oh no, I can't do that either. My grandfather loved it. He
loved
loved
it. You
it.
need that in your shepherd's pie.
Absolutely.
I'd just rather go with the regular corn without the cream part of it. I don't know. It's something about the
texture.
It's a texture
thing.
Yeah. It's like.
So one of the other things I want to bring up is that we never get enough of is boxed cake mixes or brownies. Which
for desserts.
Desserts. So,
for desserts.
That's I try to.
What if people want to donate a pie?
It's a pain in the neck for me to put in a bag because
But
they always get destroyed.
Yeah, that's true.
They get crushed.
So boxes are better, things that you can.
Boxes that they can, yeah.
All right. Anything else before we go out? We're going to go to another break, and then we got to bring in our criminal justice students in, and we're going to talk about what's going on.
We
over there.
did.
Your state, Ralph. You're welcome to stay for the next part.
Yeah.
Of the show.
Well, I would love to, but the mayor's office is calling.
Oh,
no, that's his way of getting out of it. Get out of here.
Get used to it. For
but
the
how
next
many
month and a half
is
or
there?
whatever.
Are we? So, but I heard us say earlier we were short turkeys still, right? So,
Well, I think we have, as I said, right now.
We have 150 committed.
Okay.
And we usually.
At least 225.
Okay, so last year we got 100 given to us.
We had 100 given, and the other 125 walked through the door. So I think
Okay.
turkeys are going to be good.
Turkeys are going to be good.
This year we didn't get anything given to us except for our donators.
Yeah.
Right.
So
the food pantry was unable to. They usually supply 100 turkeys. They were not able to do that, so the anonymous donor replaced that.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Which is unbelievable.
Turkeys,
and I
folks,
also
turkeys.
I have to give a shout out to Danny Poos at the North Elm Butcher Block because he's coordinating all of this and he's holding them for us till Monday.
That's terrific.
And we'll
Nice.
pick them. Somehow they'll get here.
Again, local philanthropy from Westfield.
We love it.
It
All right,
is.
folks.
So, fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Figgy.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Sue,
having
stay
us.
right there,
gentlemen.
folks. We're going to be back right after a quick break, and then we're going to have some new guests on. Thanks for watching and listening.
One of our underwriters here at WSKB's Community Radio is Carson Center for Health and Human Services, a nonprofit organization located at 20 Broad Street in Westfield. They provided behavioral health and rehabilitation services in communities throughout Western Massachusetts since 1963. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, families, and couples. You can find them on the web at carsoncenter.org or at 413-572-4132.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
I can't hear you, Pete.
Hey, welcome back to Superintendent Spotlight. We are here today. Our first half of our show, we talked about our Thanksgiving food drive. And again, just a reminder, folks, you can drop food off here at Westfield Technical Academy from 2 to 5 o'clock tomorrow and 6 a.m. That's right, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Monday. We'll be broadcasting live here at WSKB 89.5 from 6 to 12, so that's going to be some great things happening. I just want a few other announcements before we get back to the second half of our show here. Our Westfield CPAC, Special Education Parent Advisory Council, they will be having their next meeting December 5th at 6:30. It is about the culture of inclusion. Those meetings are held here at Westfield Technical Academy in the cafeteria. I also just want to say, too, that Acting Mayor Ralph Figge and the City of Westfield, together with Westfield on Weekends, are happy to celebrate the kickoff of the holiday season with the mayor's tree lighting ceremony and lantern light parade on Saturday, December 7th. I also want to let folks know that please enjoy the Westfield High School Show Choir. We're going to have them on the show here December 12th.
Yes.
But on December 7th, they're going to be singing on the green, so you can enjoy that at Park Square before the tree lighting, as well as hot cocoa provided by friends at Mount Moriah Lodge. So, good things happening. I also want to congratulate Mrs. Ayers' second grade class at Franklin Avenue Elementary School for winning first place in Project Lead the Way's STEM Week online challenge. Okay, now there were like every school in the state entered, and we won.
And we won.
I just, that's incredible. You know,
awesome.
So anyone, you know, what's going on with the Westfield Public Schools? We're just doing things here and
we
there.
really are, and not to toot our own horn, but
we have to sometimes.
If we have to, and
Yeah.
if anybody tuned in or saw the school committee meeting Monday night, I think we tried to put 3 years worth of initiatives into 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're on the right track.
Absolutely. So, as the first place winner, these students have won a class field trip to TD Garden to get a behind-the-scenes look at the TD Garden kitchen and food preservation process for the stadium. So we are very excited to be able to celebrate that with Franklin Avenue. The tree lighting ceremony happens every year. It's a terrific event, so please come down and celebrate Westfield. But right now we have some new guests, so we're going to, and Sue Figge is still with us from the first half of the show.
Is that no thing I can't do?
Right. Mrs. Figge is the chair of an advisory board for a criminal justice program. And just very quickly, I approached Sue maybe a couple of years ago with a dream I had to create a criminal justice program. Yes. But in the end, you know, the reason I wanted that is because I think it's a terrific opportunity for our students.
I can tell you right now, not to interrupt you, Zap, that if my son, who is now taking criminal justice classes because he wants to be in law enforcement,
right,
if it was there when he was there, would have been like the home run for
Right.
for me personally and him personally.
Well, and then, you know, our social studies supervisor, Jay Taylor, is with us today, too. And thankfully, he agreed to be voluntold on how to work on this. And so, no, but seriously, Jay is a very big supporter, so I just want to point that out. I think this is the right track for our school. It's the right track for our students.
Absolutely.
We talked about, Sue, the amount of retirements that are going to be happening in this field as a result.
Well, people also forget that there's a huge umbrella of criminal justice.
It's not just police officers.
It is
That's
not.
right.
That's what people think of, and you're not going to be a lawyer necessarily either.
Well,
right?
you might.
They could be.
But you could be.
You could be.
And if this is a field you're interested, there are just many options. So I'm going to ask Good morning, Jay. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. I brought some friends from the high school.
So let's invite us. We want to talk to them. Actually, we've talked enough already.
Sure. To my left is Eiley Conley. Across the table is Evan Pullman, and to the left of him is Rhea Collingwood, and they are big participants in the criminal justice program. They really are enjoying themselves, and I'll let them explain their experience as well. But you guys are absolutely right. A lot of discussions with local figures in the career of law enforcement has revealed that the demand for criminal justice is unprecedentedly high, higher than ever before.
And I'm not, but the retirements are.
But we have a great retirement for law enforcement, but you also.
But there's a lot of people retiring.
There's a lot of people retiring, and it goes in waves.
Right, and I think we're about to hit a wave.
We're about to hit a wave, and my wave was like 6 years ago. Now it's starting again, but there's other waves too that have to do with it. There's increased, Homeland Security is a huge area.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Cyber crime
security
is the number one growing field out there. And we have some great kids that graduated from the program here that are now in cybersecurity. They got jobs months before they got out of college.
Well, and every year, and I want to thank you, Chris, because you're able to fund the Cyber Patriot competition through the IT department here. It is a summer program, essentially, but all the students typically, and they place very well.
And they place really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth every penny that we're able to put into that program. So, Jay, why don't you again, or have the students, but they need the microphone, so they're going to have to pass and talk. No, he's got one right there. Hold it up, but we can let's talk about criminal justice and what the kids are doing.
So I'm a freshman, and when I was signing up for classes this year, I saw criminal justice on the list, and it was kind of like out of place. I really wasn't expecting it.
Well, we'd never had it before, so that's reasonable. Yeah. And
well, that was kind of the closest thing I could find to like an ROTC or military program.
Right.
And I'm really enjoying it so far. I've so far had quite a few experiences like coming on here, and I recently got to go to one of the criminal justice meetings and got to talk there, and that was really informational, and I got to
So you spoke at the program advisory board meeting, right?
Yeah.
So that's the group of adults who are helping guide the program. What was your role at the meeting, if you don't mind me asking?
I just introduced myself, and I talked about some of the projects that we've done in the class, and kind of the meaning of some of the things that we've done so far. Do you want to share maybe some of the activities that you have done in class? And John Vanass is the teacher, right? So we just want to shout him out as well as the instructor of the program. So one of the more recent projects we've done is a jail project. So we had to design our own jail, prison, whatever, and we had to come up with everything: housing, food. Sorry.
That's okay.
Blanking on the word, but
that's okay.
We just had to have all. We had all aspects of a prison, and we had to put down why we made them, what's the purpose of it, if it's a rehabilitation prison or kind of a punishment prison. And it was just a really informational and helped us learn a little bit more about how jails and prisons work.
Well, and they're not free to run either. I think people need to understand that. They're certainly costly, and certain prisons have different focuses, as you said. Is it rehabilitation focused, or is it consequences for really a crime that someone committed, right?
We have a great person on our thing from the Hampden County, John Cadigan. He's captain there, and he's at Hampden County. And Hampden County Jail is probably one of the best in the nation. So we're lucky to have him, and he's got some tours coming up with you as well, I believe.
All right. Want to grab that mic? Talk to us a little bit about what you're. Well, tell us who you are again.
Who you are?
My name is Evan Pullman.
All right, Evan.
I'm also a freshman. All of us are freshmen.
Yeah. Why'd you take the course?
I took the course because I have been watching a lot of documentaries on like corrections officers and stuff, and I want to go into that field.
Excellent.
Wow, great.
Because I feel like I would need to always be like knowing where I am at all times, so then I would like be safe, I guess. I'm trying to like make it out safe.
Okay.
In the world, because
Sure.
there's a lot of crazy things that are happening.
Well, and law enforcement is a good career, and again, I think just a correction officer is yet another career that is in the law enforcement field, right? Correct. All right, next up.
My name is Rhea. I pretty much took the course because my brother last year he took a criminal law course.
Okay.
And he told me all about it, and it seemed pretty interesting. And when I looked at what we could take, I saw criminal justice, and I figured it should be around the same thing.
Sure.
It's really different, but it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. And we do a lot of projects. Recently, we just did a project about different agencies throughout the criminal justice program. And
Can we, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. So, what are the different agencies? I mean, can you share some of that out? Because our listeners probably don't know either.
There were a lot of them. We did the USSS, which is the United States Secret Service. We did the ATF, which is what I did personally, which is the alcohol, firearms, and tobacco, firearms, and explosives. And we did just a bunch more that I can't think of.
That you probably didn't even know about, did you?
Yeah, there were a lot, and I just didn't even realize that there were so many.
So many different places to go.
And they all have different jobs, like Secret Service. One of the things people don't know about Secret Service is they're in charge of counterfeit money.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Did you know Secret Service did counterfeit?
That I did not know.
And we have one of the a Westfield kid, Johnny Mazza, who's part of the Secret Service. He's in the Boston area.
They also protect the president, don't they?
He did. He protected the vice president. He was
okay. So there's a lot of different what other careers out there in criminal justice have anyone can speak here if that you've learned about that maybe there's a typical police officer, obviously people think of that, but what else is out there?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of fields. Well, I kind of want to dive back to the project though, because basically what we had to do is he picked what agency or which group that we were going to do.
You're going to investigate.
And we had to do our own research on it. And he also, this isn't like expected when you say CJ, but he also wants us to be good at like presenting.
Oh, of
things
course.
like that.
That is CJ.
Of course.
That's a life skill, right?
It's life skills, yes.
When we're presenting our projects and stuff that we have been working on for about a week each one, we work on it for like a week, he tries to minimize the amount of times that we have to look at the screen or read off of like a paper or anything like that.
That's terrific.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
So did you do a PowerPoint?
We did a Google slide on it.
Yeah. We're going to Google there, so just saying.
Sorry.
It's free, it's free. Very similar. So what other projects have you worked on besides looking into what agencies are available?
A few weeks ago, we did a serial killer project. So we each got to choose a serial killer and did all about their history, all about their mode of operation, everything about them, and maybe like what prompted them to become a serial killer.
Yeah, I watch a lot of those documentaries too.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I learned very recently that when you said there are some crazy things going on in the world. You talked about a project on serial killers. We like to use the word insane, right? People say, well, that person must be insane. I learned that insane is a legal term.
It is.
That is not a clinical term.
I like to think that there's just evil. I think so many people jump on the word insane when it truly... There's just evil out there.
Right. But to realize that term is actually a legal term versus nobody in the no therapist or psychiatrist or anybody that works with people that have mental illness would use that term because it's not a clinical term. It's an actual legal term.
You guys are teaching me a lot here today.
Something
else I've learned.
It's a catch-all people will use to get away from, admitting to a crime that I would. But reality of it is there's just evil.
Mm-hmm. There is. And you're a retired police detective from the Westfield Police Department, but you also still work in the criminal justice field.
I teach at a college. I teach at Bay Path. I've been there for 17 years.
Teaching evening classes, right?
Online classes. On ground for non-traditional women because that's the group that I really like.
And that's another thing. So in the law enforcement field, I think it's terrific that out of the 3 students we have here, 2 of them are females, and
absolutely
typically is law enforcement. I mean,
So the funny story about that is I was sitting there thinking about that is when I went to my guidance counselor when I was in high school in 1974. Okay, so
that might have been the year I was born.
I know. I knew you were going to say that. So when I went, she said, and I would never forget this. It was Mrs. Roberts. She goes, "You cannot be a police officer So you just can't believe it because it's only for men. And truly, it really was.
But Matt, at the time,
so
though,
I
as
said,
crazy as that sounds, her saying that to you, that might have been close to reality.
well, it was reality at that time. And so I took it because somebody told me I couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was the only female forever in all my classes. And gradually that changed. Women are about 11.9, and that statistic has not really changed a lot over the years nationally. And it needs to get higher.
It does.
11.9.
Absolutely.
We are definitely an unrepresented group. So,
Well,
I
like
appreciate you.
Zap said, we've got two right
out of
here.
3, so our odds are
And-
good on the show today.
And I think that, am I right, Jay, that the class is pretty well 50-50, right?
Yep, that's affirmative.
Excellent.
In mine and Eileen's criminal justice class, actually there are only 4 boys, and the rest of the students are all girls.
Could not be prouder of that.
That is
excellent.
Good. We're starting to see the tide change a little bit. It took only 40-something years.
Well,
but,
yeah, but I think
45, thank you.
Yeah.
but I think what Sue says is right on, though. That the percentage hasn't really changed, but for us, we're being progressive in that regard. Again, I don't want to keep tooting Westfield's horn, but we're being progressive in that area.
Hey, someone has to, you know?
Right, exactly.
So what else? What other careers have you talked about, or other projects that you've done? I think the serial killer is, I think people find that fascinating anyway. I mean, there's a channel on TV called Reels. I don't know if you ever saw it, but they do like these documentaries on different serial killers and their lives and how they got to where they are. But what else have you worked on? Anything?
We did have to take this picture test that police officers have to take, where you look at a picture and you just take a look at everything in there and have to memorize everything.
That you see?
And then they take the picture away and you have to take a test on it.
How hard was that?
It was pretty hard for the interpretive stuff.
What does that mean, Because
So
we're all newbies here.
There was the physical stuff in the picture, but then you had to kind of interpret how it happened. Like the picture that we had, there was a person lying on the floor, footprints, spilled glasses, and a unmade bed. So we had to kind of infer what was going on in that situation.
Okay.
So that part was a little bit more confusing because there's a bunch of scenarios that could have happened, but the actual memorizing of the physical object.
You really have to be able to pay attention, don't you?
Absolutely. Oh,
To every detail, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that as they're doing that, one of the things that I've done with my classes on that is not only what you see, but what was touched. Because the Lockhart's theory is wherever you go, you leave something. You take something, you leave something. So you're talking your DNA, touch DNA, like now he has my DNA all over his hands.
Yeah.
It's called touch DNA. So the Lockhart's theory is that wherever you go, you leave. So what did the perp touch? What did the victim touch? Where can we find the evidence? Because we are now a country that expects evidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and everyone watched those
Well,
CSI, the TV shows.
Yeah, and
too.
how many of those are fake tests on NCIS?
Yeah.
I think there was like 27 last year that were tests they just made out of
They just
thin
made
air.
up. Did you? Any projects that you want to speak of? Did you enjoy this? Did you have to do the same thing? Was it hard for you?
Yeah. So I was actually absent the day that they
Okay.
did it. So I came back and he was telling me about this test that I was doing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this test.
Yeah.
So he gives it to me, and I asked him, what is this? And he said, memorize it. So I have to look at it, and he gives us, was it 10 minutes to? Yeah, so we had 10 minutes to look at the picture. So I was looking at every possible thing I could see, even if there was a speck on a car, I would see it. So after that, when he took it away and he gave us the test, I knew everything.
So you did well.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
I knew everything on there. So I feel like that's going to help me later on if I can really remember things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Hey, listen, folks. It is 9:43. We're going to be taking our third and final break for the show, and we'll come back. We're going to do a little bit with sports. Got to talk a little bit about Westfield High School's girls soccer team.
My goodness.
But I also want to shout out, folks. Katie Bean is up for Mass Live Athlete of the Week. So if you go to Mass Live, look for Athlete of the Week and support our Westfield Bomber, Katie Bean. And last I checked, she was in the lead. So we're pretty good. But keep voting because other schools are going to do the same thing. All right, folks, we'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks for listening.
Swing, you should have heard this knocked out jailbird sing that was a purple gang, let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in old sailor bar was dancing to the jailhouse rock. Number 47 said to number 3, you were the cutest jailbird I ever did see. I sure would be delighted with your company. Come on and do the jailhouse rock with me, let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in old sailor bar was dancing to the jailhouse rock, 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 rock. Sad sack was sitting on a block of stone, way over in the corner weeping all alone. The warden said, hey buddy, don't you be no square. You can't find a partner, use a wooden chair. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in old cell block was dancing to the jailhouse rock. Shifty Henry said the bugs, for heaven's sake, no one's looking out a chance to make a break. Bugsy turned to Shifty and he said, nix, nix, I wanna stick around, I wanna get my kicks. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in old cell block was dancing to the jailhouse rock. Dancing to the jailhouse rock. Dancing to the jailhouse rock.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And we're back with Superintendent Spotlight with Zap and Chris, broadcasting live from beautiful Studio 120 here at Westfield Technical Academy. And folks, right now it is all about Westfield High School's Lady Bombers team. And I'll tell you, the soccer team is on fire. They are getting ready. Get this, ladies and gentlemen. They are getting ready to play the winner of Brookline and Bishop Feenan.
I think Bishop won, right?
Bishop
won, right?
And both teams were 1-0. Both games were 1-0 overtime wins for both.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
That's going to be one heck of a game.
Worcester State, 5 p.m., okay, Saturday night. We're in the Massachusetts State Finals for Division I girls.
First time ever for the history of the program, Pete,
it's
I believe.
Amazing.
I would think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So, just to go back, huge win.
You beat Algonquin, right?
Algonquin was undefeated at that point, 17, I believe, 0-3, and then we knocked them off. And hey, Chandler Podolsky stunned the crowd, right, with a shot in OT. And anybody that knows anything about soccer, one team can thoroughly dominate another team, but the goalie can be standing on his or her head and no goals are scored. That was kind of the feel of this game. We dominated most of the match, and when you get to overtime, anything can happen. And fortunately for us, we were able to knock the ball into the back right corner in OT. I'll tell you what, give Adriana Arona, our goalie, credit too. She made some outstanding saves. Kayla Mochek had an outstanding match for our team, and Katie Bean, we talked about Katie before, right? And Katie's nominated for Athlete of the Week, and she had an amazing game, an amazing matchup as well. So, folks, let's go out and support the girls.
And I know
Saturday
we're getting
night.
A bus for students that are interested in going. I know
Absolutely.
that Edie Dunphy has worked on that, and just nice job there.
And the boys varsity football team beat Holyoke 26-8 last Friday as well.
They
So
did. Now they're playing Minnechaug on Thanksgiving.
Setting up for the rematch,
Yeah.
the grudge match.
That's
the grudge
right.
match.
And I know there's a piece of sports news that everybody is really excited about this morning. The Yankees have released Jacoby Ellsbury, Pete.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a
Yeah,
waste
that's
of
an
money.
interesting
Who likes
one.
the Yankees anyway?
Well, he was
Well, he was
Red
a
Sox.
champion Red Sox player.
Did a great
for-
job with
I'm
the
just
Sox.
saying
He certainly did.
And
Then
then
we
he signed
signed
with
him.
us. He turned into a pumpkin.
Yeah,
You know what I
It's-
mean? He just
New York market's not easy to play in.
No, well, a lot
He's
of
kept
it was
getting
just
injured.
He's
Yeah.
always hurt,
Right.
You know, and could literally never take the field. But Celtics looking good right now. Pete leading the Atlantic.
Yep.
Bruins leading their division.
Yeah, but they're
as
what
well.
happened a little bit. They're
Well,
Don't forget about the Patriots.
Of course.
The Antonio Brown sweepstakes continues.
Is he going to go back to them?
That's the scuttlebutt. Everybody's talking about it. Nationwide, they're talking about he's probably going to go back.
I don't know.
That's what they need desperately.
They
Well,
need
they,
another receiver.
they have such a winning culture that they go to Philadelphia. It's a tough matchup on the road. They win, and they were furious.
Yep.
With how they performed
because they played horribly.
And they still won. They still won the game.
Squeaked out a win.
Well, their defense is just maybe.
You know
the
who's
best
listen?
of the
Baltimore
era.
is going to be tough, and I
That's
think that's
it.
what
Yeah,
they're going to
their
be
quarterback
playing.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Either runs or passes. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, and I think that's their fear. I mean, they're going to end up hosting the AFC Championship game. I mean, we know that's going to happen. But if having to play the Ravens, who've already,
I think they're more scared of the Ravens than they are of the Chiefs right now.
No question about it. Lamar Jackson is such a tough matchup for anyone.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Meanwhile, in Dolphins and Giants lands, we lose.
We don't really talk about
like to
those
add something about
guys
the
anymore.
Please go on. Go ahead.
All right, so Lamar Jackson, he's a good quarterback. He should be a halfback. I'm saying that right now.
Yep.
So I'm a Texans fan, and we just got beat by the Ravens
badly.
But
that wasn't very competitive. You guys were almost Giants-esque in that game.
Yeah. He's a Giants fan, and I'm a Dolphins fan. So we got nothing going on.
Yeah,
we're waiting for draft picks.
Yes,
but Tom Brady's not looking too hot this season. He's not looking too good.
He's not.
This season.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Well, Father Time catches up with all of us.
He doesn't have but the problem with the biggest problem with Tom Brady right now is his line is just horrible.
Yeah,
it's like a sieve, and he doesn't
I'm
have
pretty
time
sure
to
Tom
set
Brady
up a
is
shot.
ranked 9th or 10th quarterback right now.
It's even lower than that.
It might be even lower. Yeah.
But
struggling.
It's not very
Yeah,
impressive.
but you know what though? Even the greatest. Well, I mean, you remember Derek Jeter's last few years with the Yankees? It was very similar. It just age catches up with all of us.
When's the Hall of Fame vote?
Coming up right at December, January.
Do you think he's going to be unanimous?
Well, Mariano Rivera, of course, the first ever player.
Unanimous.
To be
Even if you're a Red
unanimous.
Sox fan, you got to like Mo.
Rob, Mo's the greatest to ever play his position.
Absolutely.
In the history of the sport.
I still remember the cutter and how many bats he used to.
Oh yeah. So Jeter's going to be a first ballot lockdown getting in. If anybody,
Will it be unanimous?
But that's the thing. How could you not? How could you not vote for him? What would be your rationale as a voter to not vote for Derek Jeter for the Hall of Fame? What would be how could you defend not voting? How?
His performance as the Marlins person, but don't let that as that.
No, but it has nothing to do with his time.
Exactly.
No, but I'm saying, what would be your rationale?
Nothing. All right, listen, we've got about 8 minutes left. We want to get back to our criminal justice program. And again, we just started it this year, folks, so just a little more background because I think we skipped that piece. But we started planning for this last year, and we started it this year. And so, Jay, talk to us about the process. So right now, students are enrolled, right?
Yep.
But what happens at mid-year? I mean, what's going to happen for this? And then what's the future of the program?
Yeah, so it's great to hear that these students are having such a positive experience.
It really is.
Because it is the result of a lot of hard work, like you just mentioned, that started last year. Currently, one of the biggest challenges is to take this Chapter 74 tech program.
Well, get it certified. It's got to be certified. Right.
And it's, the challenge is to get that format and kind of fit it into the traditional high school model. So what these students did is they took Criminal Justice 1 as a semesterized course in the fall this year currently.
What happens then next semester?
So that's kind of their opportunity to decide whether or not criminal justice is their thing.
They want to stick with it.
If they want to stick with it in the program. If they are, then they go on to Criminal Justice 2 in the spring.
Excellent.
Next year, the instructor, Jack Vanas, is in the process of creating a full year course called CJ3. So it's kind of like the commitment, like, all right, you're in.
How long and how many? So that's more than just a period a day, though, next year, right? Or is it?
We're still in the planning stages for
Okay,
that. I've
all right.
determined that. That's part of the reason why we made it a full year-long course.
Oh,
is
absolutely.
to provide flexibility.
Right.
But, I do want to say that, Jack has been working, in addition to his effective instructional practices, it sounds like, he's done some work outside as well. He's trying to establish right now connections to provide opportunities for first aid and CPR certification, Stop the Bleed certification, OSHA.
Excellent. Excellent.
He's working right now with STCC and HEC for local articulation agreements.
And they're on our
That
advisory
is
board, right?
awesome.
We have
Yeah.
Westfield State on the advisory board. Who else? And so who else is on the advisory board?
So it's comprised.
Let's not forget the judge.
Well, yes.
Oh, yes.
So it's comprised of some pretty important local, and that's the important thing, local figures.
Right.
We have the former mayor and newly elected city councilman, Rick Sullivan Jr.,
Yeah.
former district attorney and now federal judge, Mastriani is on it. Officers Mazza and Coach from the Westfield Police Department,
Excellent.
who also oversee the cadet program, and we've had discussions that have led to us coming up with a plan that hopefully the vision is that this program will be somewhat of a feeder
It's
system.
a pipeline to the cadets.
Should be, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the plan, and as you see, it's that local community element that we're trying to embed into this program to achieve success.
We also have people from the jail.
Corrections.
We have people from
Yep.
parole. We have people from the
Mhm.
court.
Sure.
We have people that are, we've talked to have, we're going to have mock trials at next year where we're going to have them in the courtroom with actual
Well, and that's a
judges
whole
in.
nother. We've talked about police, corrections officers, and everything else, but then there's the legal side when you
Right.
want the lawyer piece, even the paralegal. But
Yep.
all those folks have to be represented.
So probation, we have probation on
Right.
there. So every aspect of it, Jay, there's on there that you can think of. It's a large group. We have a couple attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's moving forward, and I'm hoping that you guys really like it a lot because it was a great career for me.
Yeah, and which is why I asked you to.
You didn't ask me. You volunteered.
Okay, well, which is why you agreed to be the advisory chair. So I think the program is going to have a lot of potential.
Sure.
I mean, from the students now, do you think that a lot of your classmates will end up picking this for the second half of the year?
Personally, I think from my class, a lot of us are really enjoying it.
Okay.
But I know that some kids aren't as interested in it as like all the other kids are, so I assume more than half of the class will be doing
We'll
it.
be doing. Well, so it's interesting and so what we're trying to establish eventually is like an exploratory. So that
Yes. Correct.
the first half of your freshman year, you think you might have an interest in criminal justice, but you may not once you get into it. I mean, I remember I was the principal here for a while, and we had an exploratory process. Probably 50% of the kids came in or picked something else different than they thought they were going to pick when they went here. So they started going through the shop. I mean, a lot of us get our career interests from our family members, right? Whatever they're in.
Sure.
And sometimes it is you watch those shows on television and they influence you, and then you go into the actual field and you realize, oh, it actually is nothing like Law and Order. It's not. That's not what it's like. So that's why we want to do this, and that's going to be our structure going forward, right?
Absolutely. Yep, that's
Yeah.
the plan.
So
Great.
Yeah. What else? You want to add something?
Well, personally, when I was taking the course, I never thought that I was going to do anything in criminal justice. I wanted to be a doctor. And
Yeah.
now, personally, I would really be interested in doing anything in the science field for the criminal justice
I
program.
mean, do you guys do anything with forensics at all?
Yeah, I was going to say, what about forensics?
We
Not
did-
yet. Are you getting there?
Well, kind of. We did like fingerprints.
And
some
bite
tools,
marks, I
and,
believe,
like-
right?
What is that?
I believe they did a project on bite marks.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
that was one of our
Yep.
first projects.
How to distinguish between human
and also
animal,
An
stuff
animal?
like that?
Right.
Well, they did a project, I believe, on white collar crimes where you had to piece together shredded documents and try put on your detective hat and try to figure out what they said.
Yeah, there were document analysis, there was fingerprints, and we did bite mark analysis. We had to try and identify our own bite marks, and some people couldn't even do that.
Wow.
Really?
So-
That's interesting.
Unbelievable.
And
Great
then there's-
stuff.
And then there's this.
In the criminal
There's
justice
so
system,
many
the
fields, and when you
people
talk
are
about
represented by
forensics,
two
that's
separate
a
yet
huge
equally
field.
important groups.
Anytime you go
The
into
police who
science,
investigate
you always
crime
have a job.
and the
That's
district
always
attorneys who
been my
prosecute
saying.
the
If you go into
offenders.
science, you'll have a
These are
job.
their stories.
Yeah,
They
that's
take-
great. Law and Order. There you
Law
go.
and
That really is.
That sums it. Kind
that
of
sums
the
it up.
overview, yeah.
Absolutely. So, any other closing comments? You have a minute left.
Yeah, so you said something about how you can like get your career ideas from your family members. Another reason I wanted to join this was because My great-grandmother was actually the first female police officer in Springfield, Holyoke, I think.
All right.
Who's your great grandmother?
There you go. That's terrific.
I actually never knew her first name. I just call her Nana Connolly.
Yeah. No, and that's how we get our jobs. Like, that's how sometimes we pick what we want.
Sure.
Mr. Taylor, any departing remarks before we go? Thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It was an absolute pleasure. I hope this was a good experience for you students.
Kids, you did an amazing job
you did a
today.
great job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Things you'd
Evan,
like to
anything you want to say?
I feel like this is a good opportunity for me to get a stable job, I guess.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because the retirement is very good when you go into law enforcement.
It is.
That is so true.
You're a freshman in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, they normally don't think about that till they're 30.
I was going to say, you're thinking about retirement already. I love it.
Yeah.
Got to
Well,
plan
you
ahead.
Got to plan early.
On this,
That has to happen.
I'm just so excited about how well spoken our student guests have been today.
Absolutely.
It's just, we're doing
I
something
think
right.
I said that to you last week, Jay. I said, wow, what a good group you have.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job.
All right. Thanks, folks, for listening. It's 10 o'clock. Our time is up, but we will be back next week. We'll have Principal Melanie Chassie and her guests from Paper Mill Elementary School. And actually, it's not next week.
I was going to say, I won't be here next Thursday.
No. So let me rephrase that.
Monday.
That is the following
Unless
Thursday.
you're taping something I don't know about.
No, we're not. It just reminds me now because we would like to wish all of our listeners, all of this entire community, staff, their families, students, friends, a happy Thanksgiving from all of us in the Westfield Public Schools. Again, just a quick reminder, drop off food tomorrow from 2 to 5 here at Westfield Tech for
And
the
it's funny
food
because
drive.
somebody was listening to you this morning, which shocked me a lot. I got
Really?
to be honest with you. And they brought
She's brutal
They
to
brought
me, huh?
food in already.
They did. Nice.
Yes.
And then you can bring, of course, from 6 to
I just
12.
got a text on them.
6 to 12 on Monday, folks. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Have a great weekend.